We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. My question for you today is, are all men created equal? The answer is yes. But are they treated equally? Let's find out. So the Declaration of Independence was basically written by the colonists of America to free themselves from the British. But what they did not specify was that with their statement that all men are created equal, they meant white males in economic power. At the end of the day, everything came down to money. The colonists felt that they were not being financially represented in Parliament. They felt that they were being taxed without their consent, that they were not treated well, and that they were being oppressed. So what did they do? They broke away from the British. They fought the war. We know how it ended. We wouldn't be the country today without it. And I'm just going to show you how racism has developed through time in American history. We move on to the Emancipation Proclamation that was written in 1860. Keep that date in mind. The Emancipation Proclamation was written in 1860, and Abraham Lincoln said, "All persons held as slaves within any states of designated part of states, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States shall be then forever free." So basically, any African American, any black person, Spanish who were held as slaves should be freed. And you know why they did that? Is because the Confederate Army was having black people fight against the Union, against people that were trying to free them, that were trying to give them, equal pay, like liberation from the slavery that the South was trying to keep on them. Because at the end of the day, as I said earlier, money. The South was making profit off of the backs of slaves. That was their industry, slavery. That is what they were using. Free labor. They did not want to pay black people for their labor. And so that became an issue. Abraham Lincoln freed black people not because he cared about them necessarily or he was not racist. He did it to win the Civil War because he saw how integral and important that African Americans were in the war. Then we move to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This is about almost 100 years later. And black people are still dealing with the issue of racism, the issue of discrimination, but now in the form of segregation. Oh, you're separate but equal. This stems from the Jim Crow laws that were placed in shortly after the Emancipation Proclamation, which restricted African Americans the right to vote, the right to even grab education, just a constant oppression and demarginalizing of a group of people, just constantly teaching and spewing hatred for no reason against somebody who just happens to be a darker shade than you. This is the cycle that the United States has. This is why I say and believe that the United States is the capital of racism in the world. The United States was the last major superpower to abolish slavery. For what? Absolutely ridiculous. Martin Luther King said, "Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children." Basically, he was making a play on the words of the founding fathers. Everyone is created equal. You're the ones who said it, so why can't we be treated that way? And no, black people are not treated that way. Black people are still face institutionalized and systematic racism. The fact that you can tell me that 13% of the U.S. population is made up of African Americans, but yet 50 to 80% of the prison system is filled with African Americans, and you can sit here and tell me that no, there's no such thing as institutionalized racism. It's not all cops are bad, this and that. No, it is a problem that needs to be fixed. Our justice system needs to be reformed, period. End of story. We are all created equal, but we must be treated equal. Now, to conclude, all lives matter. Yes, but all lives matter cannot matter unless Black lives matter too. Thank you.